With the fighting going on currently in the Middle East and also in Eastern Europe, you may be wondering what protections there are for heritage and archaeology in a conflict zone. Now, obviously, nobody can control where bombs and missiles fall, and if something that is historic or cultural happens to be in the way, it will unfortunately get hit. However, the Hague Convention of 1954 states that you are not actually supposed to be going and deliberately attacking these things. In reality, this still goes on and has gone on for thousands of years. If you read the Old Testament, there are portrayals of war there where this happened. And within my lifetime, there was, of course, the destruction of Bosnia's independent library and also the destruction of the statues by the Taliban. What the Hague Convention means is that if you, in a war, go and deliberately destroy the cultural and historical artifacts of the people you're at war with, you are actually committing not only a war crime, but it's actually on the scale of genocide. It's treated the same way as mass murder, such as was seen in Europe during the Second World War with the Holocaust. Going and destroying these cultural icons is viewed in the same way. In reality, this does seem to be what people go for. During my undergrad, I read an article where during the siege of Sarajevo, about a decade earlier, there was a journalist who had been speaking to a commander of the Serbs overlooking the city, who apologized for the fact that they sometimes caused damage to the Holiday Inn where the journalists were staying, but there was a museum that they were aiming at that was behind it. In the First World War, you had the destruction by the Germans of the University Library at Leuven in Belgium, which had some of the oldest printed books in Europe going back to the 15th century. And during the conflicts in Afghanistan, you had situations where the museum in Kabul was itself looted. In Odessa, there is a lot of 19th century architecture, or there was when the war started, and Mariupol used to have an interesting archaeological museum. Obviously, I have no idea what's happening with those, although I believe Mariupol has now been practically reduced to rubble. So war still and sadly will always lead to destruction of culture and heritage. Sometimes it is replicated. For example, they did reinstate the bridge at Mostar in Bosnia. And in places like Hamburg in Germany, the city was rebuilt with buildings like three-dimensional jigsaw puzzles. I have been to the Fraukirchen in Dresden, which only reopened in 2006. It actually fell down a few days after the raids and basically was in rubble throughout DDR days. And it took until the 21st century for it to actually finally be restored. Obviously, this is never the same as the original, although it may look a lot nicer than building modern stuff. It's still not the original. Even if something survives the war, it doesn't necessarily mean it survives. I live in the United Kingdom. Obviously, during the Second World War, and to a much lesser extent during the First World War, there were bombing raids in which various towns and cities had areas reduced to ruins and rubble. Other areas, however, did survive. And even where stuff survived, the town planners are in the post-war period, in the second half of the 20th century, then proceeded to destroy a lot of stuff that had escaped the bombing, as this was seen as a convenient way of dealing with things. It has been said that they actually did more damage than the Germans did. One example of this I can think of is in 1942, after the British had bombed Lübeck and Rostock in northern Germany, there were a series of raids which are known as the Baedeker raids. These hit 8 cities of cultural and historical interest. Because they were less obvious military targets than large industrial cities like Birmingham or Manchester or the capital London, they were not as heavily defended, albeit that they did have stuff in them that was worth bombing. I intend to do a video on heritage protections in the 4 nations of the United Kingdom in the future. In the meantime, if you liked the video, and I hope you did, please like, share and subscribe.